Well, thank God for nosy and involved parents because this mother was on a digital scavenger hunt in her child's phone when she uncovered a plot straight out of a Netflix crime drama. When they said there was a teacher shortage, they weren't lying. Desperate times must have called for some very questionable hires because what walked into that school wasn't just a substitute teacher. She was a woman with a plan, and not a lesson plan, a hit list. What kind of substitute teacher, period, pulls a student aside and says, I'll pay you $2,000 to kill my husband? And the only reason we even know about this is because the student, you know, he didn't tell his mother. She found out by doing what most parents don't do anymore, and that is checking his phone.
Well, tonight, a Columbus area teacher is behind bars after police say she tried to pay one of her students $2,000 to kill her husband. 44-year-old Stephanie Demetrius of Powell is charged with conspiracy. Columbus police told 10 TV she worked at Academy for Urban Scholars High School. It's a charter school in Columbus. 10 TV's Kristen McFarland joins us live outside that school tonight. And
this teacher, or substitute teacher, now ex-teacher, Stephanie Demetrius. So imagine this. She walks into the classroom with a clipboard in one hand and a hit list in the other. But here's the part that has me shook. This lady has a history. This wasn't a clean record, guys. This wasn't someone who just snapped out of nowhere. We're talking past allegations of violence against her family, a protective order filed against her by her own husband, and a pattern of disturbing behavior that should have raised red flags a mile away for the school. But yet, she got hired.
sounds pretty wild, Kristen. What can you tell us?
Yeah, Yolanda. Well, when you send your kids to school, you expect that they are in good hands. However, police say a teacher from this school right behind me tried to pay one of her students to kill her husband.
State versus Stephanie Demetrius. Ma'am, you are here today charged with 1 count of felony conspiracy.
Stephanie Demetrius arraigned in court today, charged with conspiracy in connection with the investigation. Columbus police say Demetrius, a teacher at the Academy for Urban Scholars High School, asked one of her students to kill her husband for $2,000.
We're super grateful to the parent of this juvenile that was involved because of her actions and being diligent going through her young person's phone.
Court documents show a recording of a phone call between the teacher and student discussed payments when her children would be out of the home and that her husband worked from home. The phone recording also revealed Demetrius telling the student the neighbors weren't a concern when asked if they would hear the gunfire.
This would have changed the life of this young person, the classmates that go to school with this person, the teachers, the victim's family. Just so many people within the community would have been rocked by this situation had this not been taken care of when it was. You always, as a parent, want to be involved in what your kids are doing.
So here's my question. What happened to the background check? Did the school miss it? Did they ignore it? Did she fly under the radar? Or were they just so desperate to fill the position that they stopped asking questions altogether? And y'all, this is a real conversation that we need to have, because when you just let anyone waltz into a classroom, without properly vetting them, this is the kind of chaos that we invite in. Hey, I get it. Budgets are tight, staff is hard to find, and sometimes, schools are just trying to keep the doors open. But background checks, nope, that's not where you cut corners. That's not the place to save a few dollars or rush through just to fill a position. Because when you let someone like Stephanie Demetrius walk into a classroom, someone with a documented history of alleged violence, someone who's allegedly made threats against her own family, you're not just risking test scores or homework, you're risking lives. If this mother didn't care, or if she turned, a blind eye, like so many other parents do, we might have been reading about a body instead of a plot. So Stephanie Demetrius slipped through the cracks. But let's be real, guys. The system has too many cracks to begin with. We can't keep assuming that every person with a clipboard and a classroom key is there to inspire. Some walk in with lesson plans, but others walk in with murder on their minds. So keep your eyes open, because these titles don't always tell the truth. And sometimes the biggest threat in the room is the one holding the attendance sheet. So the mother wasn't snooping just to snoop, guys. She was being a parent. And in the middle of going through his messages, thinking she might find something innocent or some teenage nonsense, she uncovers a murder plot.
Specifically with phones. There's so many things that they have access to.
Court records reveal Demetrius has a history of domestic violence towards her husband.
This is something that should garner everybody's attention and bring awareness to what are our practices when it comes to hiring anybody for any business, specifically a business that involves young people, that you're entrusted with the family of so many kids that they expect you to raise their child, educate them, and have a safe environment.
Now, records show the teacher already paid the student $250 for the killing. I reached out to the school for comment and have yet to hear back.
So this substitute teacher, this would-be teacher, full-fledged teacher at some point, traded lesson plans for lethal plots and betraying the very institution that she was meant to uphold. Thank God again to the mother, her intuition and her swift action. A potential tragedy was indeed averted. So this is Southern Confidential, guys, where we uncover the stories lurking beneath the surface, reminding you always to question the narratives when something just doesn't feel right. And as always, thank you for tuning in to Southern Confidential. And if you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I will see you next time.